Women Innovators. Interviews with women with big messages and big missions, sharing their stories to inspire you to live your passion and step up to make the world a better place. Here's your host, Tami Patzer.
Hi, this is Tami Patzer, and I'm really excited to introduce today's guest, Joy Angevin Balmer. Joy is an evidence-based energy healer validated by scientific research. She is a former educator for more than 30 years and created a very successful home school assistance program. She worked with students of all ages and in all areas of instruction. She has a deep belief in the power of education, coupled with an understanding that only through connection to the divine that it can help people reach their highest potential. She's sought ways to integrate traditional education with holistic healing and the spiritual journey. In 2010, she met Guruji Mahendra Trivedi, founder of Trivedi Global Incorporated and the Trivedi Effect. She experienced profound personal transformation on all levels. She was inspired to join the Trivedi Healers Mastery Program, where under the guidance of Guruji Trivedi, her natural healing gifts blossomed. Inspired, she retired from her homeschooling program in 2014 to become a spiritual, holistic, medicine-based healer. The impact of Joy's biofield energy healing abilities on overall health, improved quality of life, and increased vitamin D3 absorption have been validated by the rigor of internationally accepted models of scientific research and published in multiple peer-reviewed scientific journals. Welcome, Joy.
Thank you, Tami. It's great to be here.
Today, I wanted to ask you about something that I know affects 100% of every single person on the planet, and that is stress. And it's interesting because obviously we've all heard of, ordinary stress and eustress, which is supposed to be good stress. But let's talk about the kind of stress that affects our health and our daily living. So with that, tell me a little bit more about your take on stress.
Well, I kind of just wanted to talk about stress today a little bit because the holidays are here with us. And the holidays are a time when people really experience stress. That we've made it through Thanksgiving, we made it through Halloween, and now Christmas is here. And Christmas is such a time that you can be connected to your divine, which is the most important part of Christmas. And it's the part that, that's why Christmas is such a beautiful time. Because it doesn't matter if you're Christian or not. It's just the time, the season that you can be connected to your divine. But things happen. It might be that you feel obligated to buy everybody a present, or, you have to have this big party and you have to make all kinds of food. You might have to, you have to have presents, you have to have decorations, and you love that activity, but it makes you have a lot of stress. And that stress means actually that you're not really connected to the divine. So, that's kind of what I thought would be a good topic for us to discuss today, Tami. Just how to stay connected to the divine during the holiday season.
I think that's a great topic because not only is the holiday season a good time to talk about how to stay connected to the divine any time of the year, but I think you're absolutely right. People feel so guilty about whatever, and of course there's the memories of the past, the childhood memories, and maybe you didn't have the beautiful Christmases that the Hallmark cards and now the Hallmark television shows Because if you've watched any of the Hallmark movies, it's a formula. Everyone, there's always the mistletoe, they kiss under the mistletoe, or the beautiful trees. And people don't realize when they watch these holiday movies and other people, spending money and putting the lights on their houses, that, for example, those Hallmark movies, if you actually watch the product placement in the movies, they would realize, hey, man, I'm watching this big, giant, emotional commercial for stuff. And I think what you're talking about, being connected to the divine, is what so many people are seeking. And that's why they feel they should be giving. And there are a lot of other holidays besides Christmas. There's other religious type holidays happening, but they seem to involve gifts or eating a lot. So this idea of being connected to the creative life force and being disconnected, I think it's really apropos for, like you said, for the holiday season. So how do you, number one, know if you're connected or disconnected? And what do you do, or what's the best way to get and stay connected to life force energy? And that may be, as you understand it, the God of your understanding, or nature, or life force, the universe, whatever it is that you personally call it.
Boy, those are great questions, Tami, and maybe we'll just talk about it together and kind of work it out. It's like, we can't solve all the problems in the universe, but we can talk about them and see how it unfolds. When I think about the life force energy, the divine energy, we all have it. We all have it. It's something that it gives us vitality. It's what we're born with. Everything. Like if you think of a flower, it knows. It's the life force energy that tells it when to bloom. It doesn't have to ask, somebody when, is it time for me to bloom yet? It just knows. It knows when to bloom. It knows. It just has that life force energy. And the same thing is really true of people. We have the seasons of our life. And if we are connected to the divine, we know we're doing the right thing. We know, your inner guidance system is telling you, yes, this is right action. It may not be what your mom is telling you. Your mom might be telling you, get out of those, whatever. Get out of those. I'm thinking of my grandson and the Christmas tree. And
quit unwrapping those presents. It's not Christmas yet. Quit eating the cookies.
Right.
Oh, you spilled the eggnog.
You got it. It's exactly that. Or, quit climbing up on that countertop. You're going to get hurt. But my little grandson knows it's his time to learn how to climb. It's his time to, get into every little thing, get into all the cupboards. That's what he's supposed to do. That's his life. And at so for humans, it's just like the flower. For every aspect of your life, for every age, you just need to know. You need to listen to your own inner guidance system. And that's how you know if you're connected or not, because your own inner guidance system, your heart, people say, I just knew it was that strong feeling from the heart. I just knew this was the right thing to do. So you hear that.
Yeah, the gut instinct or the knowing. And even though other people might be saying to you, oh my goodness, you're crazy to do that or think that or be that, you just say, well, for me, it's the right thing to do. And no matter what other people would say, if you listen to yourself, you do it, and then you like you said, it's a knowing. And it's interesting that you were bringing up comparing a flower that blooms and accepts its life for whatever it is, and flowers of course turn to the sun, and I notice it with plants. They'll always lean towards the sun, and little children, they practice. Their life is practicing, like you said, learning how to crawl, learning how to walk, learning how to open a cupboard, and even playing peekaboo is very exciting in children, up until I don't know, when kids get, I think that natural creativity seems to be getting taken away from them at a younger and younger age, because people started handing phones to their kids to play with. And now I saw the other day this little baby, oh my God, it was having, it looked like it was having withdrawal convulsions and crying. And then the mother handed it the phone and it quit. So that told me that baby was literally having withdrawals from that phone. And it was just a little baby, 6 months old or something. And so that's another thing about stress, and about that knowing. Parents unwillingly or unwittingly are taking away that natural life force connection with these artificial electronic devices. What do you think about that? Do you think I'm on to something there?
I think you're absolutely right. Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. And that's a great example of kind of this topic of stress for the holidays, because there's a lot of artificial things like the cell phone that are addictive and affect a person and create stress. So the cell phone, the example you just gave with a small child, and we're talking small, we're talking
infant.
Yeah, they can barely hold the phone, but but something about the lights, the sounds, whatever it is that comes out of the cell phone, it's actually addictive. It creates endorphins so that they feel good, and they don't really need that at that age to be connected to the divine. So they're not being connected to the God of their understanding. They're being connected to something else, to an activity. And that's the thing. It's not that, I don't think activities you have to have activities. They fill your day. And that's the great thing about Christmas is there's so many fun activities. You go to parties, you have decorations, there's all of that, but they create stress, because the stress comes in when you're not necessarily connected to your divine. And, there are a lot of things you can do. Is the biggest thing is to start to be aware of your situation. Whatever your stress is, everybody is unique and they experience the world in a different way. I mean, when I go to parties, I'm going to admit that I sometimes think I have an eating disorder, because I love the food. I love the way it's presented. I love the little cookies. Sometimes they're just decorated so nicely. I love chocolate. So I'm like, oh golly, I love parties because I can go and nibble and try all these different things. And so for that reason alone, I mean, for me, Christmas is really fun. But if I get too involved into the activity, I lose the awareness that you need to be connected to the divine. It's like the little baby that you were talking about with the cell phone. That little baby is not looking around and enjoying life. That it's needing this addictive thing to make him happy. And, and in my case, maybe I need the chocolates to make me happy at parties. And that's the stress people feel. Like even when they get to the party, they are like nervous and they become anxious. They worry about, oh, do I look okay? Have I decorated the house well enough? Is anybody going to come if it's my party? I mean, I know I've had that fear before where I've had a party and I've wondered if any of the guests are going to arrive.
I've had parties where nobody did come. Yeah, I had an experience once where I invited my, they weren't really my in-laws, but because I didn't marry the father of my children, so let's just call them my in-laws. I invited them over for Christmas Eve, and I made stuffed shrimp with crab. I made stuffed mushrooms. I made all of these things, and they were supposed to come for Christmas Eve. And nobody came. It was like 7 o'clock, nobody came. 8 o'clock, nobody came. And it was like, I guess they blew us off because the next day was Christmas and it didn't work into their plans. But they didn't have the courtesy to say, no, thank you, we're not coming. They all accepted the invitation. And so that happened to me. And talk about stress. And obviously for me, I never invited them again. And even to this day, I don't do parties. I am not a party giver because I just have not had luck with people actually showing up. Another time I had a party. It was one of those parties where you do makeup demonstrations, and like 20 people were like confirmed. So I cleaned the house for a week. This is all stress. Cleaned the house for a week. Shined up the silver coffee service. Washed all the china teacups. Decorated. Bought little gifts for, little house gifts to give away for prizes. All of these things. And this is Florida. Right before my event, we had a Florida rainstorm. And it was one of the rainstorms where it just poured like buckets. And
like a sheet of rain just poured down.
Florida, that means the roads flood and everything. Well, out of all those people, one person came. And of course she won the door prize. So again, it kind of gave me the idea that it was kind of like, well, Tami, maybe you're just not meant to have parties because it is very stressful. So, and that judgment that you were talking about, worrying about, did I decorate the house well enough? Is the food good enough? Is the house clean enough? All of the different things that come up. To me, that is stress. That judgment from other people about, whatever, and it could be that your house is absolutely fine, but one person, and I know for me, that came back from when I was a young married woman, and my ex-mother-in-law and her daughter came, and I was pregnant, like out to here at Christmas. And they got up on a chair to see if there was dust on the fan.
Oh gosh, they're so rude.
And that, again, this is a long time ago, but that really stopped me from ever wanting anybody to come over to my house. Because it's like, is this what people come to your house for? To judge you? To see if it's clean enough and nice enough? And so for me, the holidays bring up that type of stress about being judged in a way that, a negative way. Or one time I got invited to an office Christmas party, and I chose a gift. I think it was like an ornament, some type of a Christmas ornament. Well, I wrapped it. It was round, and I'm sitting in the circle with all the people, and someone there says, "Oh, did your child wrap the present?" And no, I wrapped it, but I'm not a very good wrapper. And it was round. It was kind of a funky, thing to wrap in the first place. But so you're hearing how the holidays stress me out because of people making comments or judging me for things that really in the long run, I realize, number one, I was way too sensitive, but they were putting a judgment out there instead of coming to my house, for example, and just showing up and helping out. My ex-mother-in-law was up making sure that, the fan didn't have dust on it. And the person at the party, they probably just were going, oh, your kid helped you, because they knew I had a child at home. So the stress in the holidays, for me, it's all about that judgment. And I love the idea of putting the connection of God back into the holiday period, because like you said, we made it through Halloween, we made it through Thanksgiving, now we're into the Christmas, New Year's, and then right after New Year's is Valentine's Day. So if you're single, there's a whole bunch of stuff that goes on.
Lots of stress there, lots of stress.
For that. So you talked about different ways to stop or get reconnected and stop feeling so stressed. Tell me more about how the Trivedi Effect can help with getting connected and reconnected.
Well, boy, you're the perfect person to talk about this, because you have had some incredible experiences. Boy, and you're just one person, and everybody out there is having those experiences too. That's the thing that I think about. Christmas brings up, like, why did your mother-in-law think she had to? Why would she even think that she would need to test and see how much dust was on the fan? I mean, something about the Christmas season does that to people, and so then you're hurt, and you're handling your emotional crises. I almost wonder if the divine is purposely, having these situations so that you connect. Because, if your heart is broken because somebody's checking your fan, I mean, that's just crazy. And that's what happens. Not just to you, Tami, but to everybody. But anyway, the Trivedi Effect, and this is just the most wonderful gift, is that it's like a conduit. If you think about your internet, in order to have your connection to the satellite, in order for your computer to work, you need to have a company, and that's that you're hooked into. So that you have this community, so you're connected to the
internet provider.
Internet provider, right? And you have to have that in order for your computer to work. Otherwise, your computer just doesn't work.
Right. It works, but it doesn't connect you to the internet.
Yeah, that's right. Or you might get to see the same television shows over and over again if you want to on your computer, but it doesn't connect you. And that's what the Trivedi Effect does. And it's the conduit, it's the connection, it's the internet provider that connects you to the divine. And like I said, everybody's born with the connection to the divine. Everybody has that connection, but under times of stress, you need to have more. I mean, it's like you need to harness the energy of the divine, and you need to be able to utilize it so that you're not, as you said, you were sensitive. You were too sensitive. I mean, it could be that your mother-in-law came in, got up on a chair and checked the dust, and you could just laugh and think it's the funniest thing in the world. But when you're too sensitive and you're taking it personally, that the stress has the effect. It has the effect on your health, and you feel hurt, you feel sad, and when you're connected, you feel tired, you feel, you get depressed. All of these things start to happen if you let stress come into your life. And it can be a simple thing, like your mother-in-law climbing on a chair. I mean, it's simple, but yeah, my gosh, such a thing to have to live through. So what the Trivedi Effect does is it gives you that extra boost. It connects you to the God of your understanding. And it helps you in so many areas. It improves your sleep. It gives you extra energy. It gives you inner peace. It reduces your anxiety. And so it makes it so that you're able to handle the stress that comes with Christmas.
What I found, the Trivedi Effect and LifeForce Energy, what I noticed about the difference between disconnected and connected, and my examples of being overly sensitive, of being anxious around, people, I was 20 years old. So of course my mother-in-law was very intimidating to me. And of course I was really sensitive and I was very naive about different things. And I look at it now and I think about the same issues. And again, she's still alive. She's like 90 some years old, probably still the same. But I look at it and I think about my stress levels now. When I know I'm connected to LifeForce Energy, I just have more of a calmness, and I don't take crap from people. That if somebody starts to treat me in a way that's inappropriate, in a mean way or something like that, number one, I'm able to discern that, and I'm also able to almost very quickly cut them out and say, like, I don't need to deal with you, go away, because I just have some kind of it's almost like you get this shield and you're more protected and you're calmer. I think, and again, it's hard to describe when you feel connected to the divine in that way, because every person's connection and feeling is going to be different.
Right. I was just going to say, everybody's physiology is unique. And
yeah.
So they experience the connection in a different way.
So I think, though, the way that you describe it, using that example of the Trivedi Effect of helping, be the internet provider, the conduit for the LifeForce Energy, I think is a good way to see it, because you can imagine that connection. And even though you can't see it, for example, Wi-Fi, we can't see it, yet magically it says you're connected when you're able to check. And that's how we can check our Wi-Fi connection for a computer on our phone or on our computer. But when it's the divine, that connection, like you said, it's that inner guidance system, and you feel it. It's a feeling that only each individual person can know when they're connected or disconnected. But once you've been connected, you go, oh, that's what that is. And then when you're disconnected, you're like, oh, I need to get reconnected. And that's where the LifeForce Energy transmissions come in. So you actually work with people as a conduit for LifeForce Energy. Am I accurate on that?
Yeah, that's right. I'm just starting my business called Joy Blessings.
Mm-hmm.
And that's exactly it, where I've been working with Guruji Mahendra Trivedi for 8 years, and he's been my mentor and my guru. And I'm using, it's through the divine that I have been given this gift and this ability to be a conduit for people. And again, one thing that you said, everybody's unique, and everybody will display or have different results. Like you have this calmness, which is pretty common, inner peace and calmness. Other people might just have social magnetism, which is something that people like to have during the holiday season. They just feel like they're on top of their game. They're on top of the world. They go to a party and they're just vibrant. They're vital. I mean, that's a sign that you're connected to the divine. Improved mood. That's another one. It's like, when you're connected, you have you have an improved mood. You just feel good about yourself. You don't have the worries, the anxiety, the depression that comes with the stress of the holidays. And so I'd like to encourage people to think about how do they become connected, and is there a way to become more connected to the divine during the holiday season, because it's a difficult time. People do the silliest things, like when you talk about your mother-in-law. I mean, that was silly. I mean, why would you even do that? But it creates stress, and it creates things that people hold on to for years, feeling inadequate, or like maybe you don't clean well enough. And who cares if you don't clean well enough? I mean, it just kind of doesn't even have anything to do with the holidays, but there it happened, and you had to deal with it. And I just want to encourage people to become connected. I mean, if they can, whatever way. Some people, they pray. Some people, they might play their guitar, and that might connect them a little bit. And I really believe it does. Those things that they do to find that inner peace. And the joy blessings will do the same. They'll connect you to the divine and give you support on a daily basis, or just, once a month, something like that can help you with all things like inner peace, or better quality sleep, or, improved skin quality, or helping you have the cells in your body to fight Lyme disease, or, there's just some things that come up in your life. And just the stress of Christmas, or stress of the holidays. Maybe it's an eating disorder, but any of those things, if you're connected to the divine, and I think this is my message, be connected to the divine.
Well, I think that's a really good message, again, not only for the holidays, but for any day of the year. If we were all operating from that connected place, imagine the world. if we were,
people are kind of afraid to use the word divine, but yes, that's the reality. Imagine what the world would be like. I mean, another part of it is that all our interactions with each other is like 1% of the reality of the world, and all the rest, 99%, is the divine that we don't know about. The universe is huge. We just, I feel like we don't know anything. We just deal with these little things, the little things.
We're just little specks. We're just little tiny specks. So you can reach Joy at joyblessings.com, and there she has a lot of information. She has a lot about LifeForce Energy science, the science behind the Trivedi Effect. There's some blogs, and of course there's some blog posts and media, photographs, just all kinds of really good information. And then, of course, how you can connect with Joy at Joy Blessings. So thank you so much, Joy. I really appreciated this. It was fun. I mean, I probably revealed a little bit of too much about my stress, but again, like you said, these are real things that happen to people that stress you out and make you disconnect, when it should be a time of the year when you are more connected than other times. So thank you so much for letting me talk about my stress.
Thank you, Tami. It's been a pleasure.
Everyone, this is Tami Patzer. Go make it a beautiful day. This information is not intended to provide diagnosis, treatment, or medical advice. Products, services, information, and other content provided in this broadcast, including information that may be provided in this broadcast directly or by linking to third-party websites, are provided for informational purposes only. Please consult with a physician or other healthcare professional regarding any medical or health-related diagnosis or treatment options.
You've been listening to Women Innovators with Tami Patzer. To learn more, please go to womeninnovatorsradio.com. And please do subscribe and share to spread the big messages and big missions to change the world.